first, before I start, just want to give a big shout out to our crowd. That was the best. Is it the gold package? Gold package crowd that I've been a part of in 7 years here. So definitely felt a ton of energy in the stadium. The whiteout was amazing, and they were loud. And certainly, I think our guys feed off that. And you know, all in all, I thought we were in control of the football game for the majority of the game. We just got to. There was a lot of mistakes out there that we have got to clean up, between penalties, some miscues, some misops. But you got to give credit to Washington. That's a really good football team. But I thought I was overall impressed with our defense, the energy they're playing with, getting a lot of pressure on a really good quarterback. It seemed like they were hitting them quite a bit. I know we had 4 sacks and like 8 pressures or whatever it was. I thought Keyshawn Nixon was playing his butt off out there, just competing, getting a lot of PBUs. I think he had 5. And then offensively, just it was kind of feast or famine a little bit. I mean, too many 3 and outs, and then having opportunities where, you know, for whatever reason, whether it was the call or just not executing or doing things to put us in a bad situation. But I think there's opportunities that we need to capitalize on if we want to become the team that I think we can become.
Matt, what adjectives would you use to describe the way your defense has played through 2 games?
Relentless. Just physical, aggressive, attacking. The play style is exactly what we want from these guys, and it always starts with the energy and effort. That's gonna get you through and can overcome for some of the mistakes. So I just thought, like, I think our front is extremely disruptive, getting after the quarterback. It didn't seem like they ran the ball very effectively at all either. So, you know, I think Half's done a hell of a job. I think our players are doing a great job feeding off one another, and it's definitely exciting to watch our defense go out there and perform, because I think they allow us to get up on somebody.
Man, I know you said you had some missed stops on offense, but what does it say about your group when you can go 90-plus yards twice in one half for a couple touchdowns?
Yeah, it says we're capable of anything, but you know, I know that we rely on some big plays. But I think most good offenses do as well. It's just we got to be a little bit more consistent in some of those critical situations, making sure that we execute. I know we had a couple busted protections where we didn't capitalize on some of the pressure that they were bringing. I didn't think, all in all, just in some of those situations, that we just didn't do a good enough job.
This isn't meant to be a negative toward Jordan, but he does throw the ball downfield a lot. So does that lead to some feast or famine? Do you have to kind of, you could see the price of doing business sometimes. Is that part of that approach, maybe?
Yeah, and it's partly the play calls too. I mean, if the play calls call for you to go throw the ball down the field, and it is what it is.
What would you like about being able to do that tonight with the way they play defensively? Because now you've won 2 games, and one, you threw a lot of short stuff, and you were productive getting it to 10 different guys, and then today you took more shots than you took on Sunday.
Yeah, I think every game's going to be a little bit different in regards to how you want to attack. I thought what was pretty impressive is missing, you know, 2 starters, although Jordan Morgan I consider a starter as well. But having a new right tackle with Belton in there, and Kennard playing some, you know, I thought our guys did a pretty good job in protection, and we try to help out that right side a little bit, just, you know, to allow these guys to get their feet wet. And I thought, you know, Josh is running hard. It's just, I mean, it's hard. It's tough sledding at times with some of the looks that are presenting themselves.
Speaking of right tackle, what was your thought process there, going with Belton, and then was he supposed to rotate, or was that after the holding penalty that wiped out the touchdown? What'd you do there?
Yeah, we thought that, you know, he was doing pretty well, and the thought going into the game was going to rotate those guys, and then I'm not quite sure what the snap count was, but at some point we decided to keep rolling with Belton.
You mentioned the defense. You feel like it's relentless, and certainly the stats would bear that out over the first couple of weeks. And it seems like there's a lot of movement at the line pre-snap with you guys, whether it's sim pressures, whether it's well-disguised blitzes, shifting right before the snap. From an offensive perspective, how much pressure is that putting on the offense when you've got a guy like Halfley who's threatening blitz constantly, then dropping out at times, dropping out in unconventional ways? It seems like obviously it's panned out so far, whether or not Parsons is on the field or not.
Yeah, I think he's done a great job. He's got a great football mind. He understands how to attack people and put a lot of pressure on a really good offense. And just mixing it up. And I always think is from an offensive standpoint, that's always tough when you're not quite sure what somebody's going to do. And you got to give credit to our players to be able to take what half and our defensive staff is giving them and then going out there and executing and presenting different looks or presenting a certain look and playing something off of it. So I think our safeties play a huge role in that. Obviously our backers as well. We got a lot of smart players out there, and that allows us to do what we're doing.
Matt, you just briefly touched on it, but as far as the running game, I guess what have been your impressions on that these first two games? And I guess has it been just because defenses have loaded the box, it just made it?
Yeah, it is what it is. Like if they're loading the box, that's why we tried to call a boot late in the game right there. And credit to, I think it was 92, read out of it. And I told Jordan, I was like, hey, regardless of what happens here, if it's not there, you're going to have to take a sack. And that's what happened. So, but there's a lot of tough looks. I mean, there's a lot of single high looks, and they're bringing pressures and whatnot. And we're still trying to run the football because I think that balance is absolutely critical in regards to opening up things within the passing game. And, even if you're willing to run the ball, I think like I said, it just opens up for some explosive plays in the pass game.
Coach, you mentioned 51 yards rushing Washington had in this game on 19 carries. And your run defense has been so much better to begin the year. What's been the biggest difference you think from last year to this year in terms of your run defense?
Well, I mean, I think there's a lot of layers to that question in regards to who you're playing, what's the situation. Certainly when you're up in a game, there's going to have less opportunities to run the football, but I think ultimately it's a credit to our guys, and I think just the variance of front structures that we present to a defense and, the techniques our guys are using, and ultimately it's about them going out there and executing, and I think our guys are dialed in and locked in and doing a great job up front.
It feels like in the past against mobile quarterbacks, maybe there was an effort to maybe just keep them in the pocket. Today it seemed opposite, where you were maybe a little bit more willing to come after the quarterback. Was that a philosophical change or just a game plan thing for this week?
Without diving too deep into that, first of all, I think DC and DeMarcus Covington and the rest of the D-line coaches have done a really nice job of getting these guys to understand how to play off one another. And then ultimately, like I said before, it's about our players going out there and doing that. And I think, when you're playing a quarterback of the caliber of Jaden Daniels, you better be mindful of how you're rushing the passer. And our guys just went out there and did an excellent job. There were very few, I don't know what 7 for 17. Like, that's a hell of a day defensively. If you told me that's what it was going to be after the game, I'd say advantage us.
With some of your big game difficulties last year, what does it mean to be 2-0 right now? These guys, I think it was 27-7 combined record for these teams you just beat pretty handily.
Yeah, I think it's great, but it's just a start. I mean, there's a long season ahead of us. You can't take it for granted. I think that you got to keep competing, pushing, and, there was opportunities to really put this game away tonight, and I don't think we did that. So that gives me a lot of ammo when we get with the guys on Monday to kind of get after them a little bit. But, I love this team, this locker room. We got great character guys. They care, and they're going to be hard on themselves. I know it. But obviously there's a lot of things that we got to clean up.
What did you like about what Tucker gave you? Obviously his first 100-yard receiving game seemed like he was, whenever big play you needed, he was there.
Yeah, just even when plays weren't there, like we throw a little, boot keeper, if you will, a slam keeper out in the flat, and there's a guy right there, and he throws him by and gets, I don't know, 15, 16 yards or whatever it was. Yeah, he's a guy that approaches the game the right way. I can't say enough great things about Tuck, and just the growth that we've seen from him from the time he's gotten here. But it's not only on the football field, it's every facet of life, I would say, and he's a real leader for us.
Now let me save you I'm always concerned when a guy leaves a game and can't come back in the game quote. What's your concern level with Jaden?
He's going to miss a lot of time. So, unfortunately, he broke his collarbone, so he'll be down for quite some time. We'll see how fast he can recover and heal. And certainly I would expect him back at some point this season. But, obviously it's a big blow to us. He's a guy that is a catalyst for our offense and our football team, quite frankly. The energy he brings, and he's a dog. He comes out there and he's going to compete, and he plays tough, physical, and he's a playmaker. But it's, fortunately for us, I feel like we have a pretty deep wide receiver room, and it's going to be there's going to be opportunities there for other guys to step up and take advantage of.
Two more, please. You mentioned Keyshawn off the top. I think he had 5 PBUs, and you said that. You said you wanted to be cornerback 1. Seemed like you showed that tonight.
He did a hell of a job, and that's the expectation that we have for him. Every day out on the field is you got to go compete, and so I was really proud of his effort.
What do you get beyond just I know the results have not been great with the direct snap to Jacobs last week, and then Savion slipping tonight.
Got to give Steno a lot of props for that one. Him and Getsy, I think, came up. That's something that Getsy ran, I want to say, either in Chicago or with the Raiders, and we implemented it, and it was a great look. We just got to, we got to keep our feet. He looked like a baby deer, like Bambi on ice.
But obviously you want him to work for one, obviously. But does that create some excitement with your guys when you throw that kind of stuff in there? Like, is there a value in that part of it too?
I mean, I'm sure it does, but you got to ask them. They got to go out there and do it and execute it. But I think anytime a guy gets a play for them, I think they're pretty excited. So I'm sure Savion's the one that's most excited about that play.